everybody, Jamie Pate here. Welcome to this video. And today we're going to do a little bit of storytelling. We're going to storytell a whole story. Can you storytell? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's get started. So I have here my current storyline chapters album, and this is, I have labeled this one July, August, September 2023. And I have in here a lot of blank pages. And I really have been inspired lately. I think it's really good to take scrapbook or storytelling classes. I have recently gone through Allie Edwards' what's it called? Start Here class. And I was just, it really brought me back to what it is I love to do. I love to tell stories. I love to scrapbook. I love photographs. And she talked about how much she loved photography. And I was just like, yeah, so do I. I really do. And so I love going back through my albums and seeing the stories. And she's really great about doing the everyday. And I used to be a lot better about that. And I just kind of allowed some things to, I wouldn't say take priority. You just let other things just kind of evolve into your life, right? And you sort of sometimes can forget, yeah, I really love doing this. But what's so great about this is the creativity of a scrapbook page, the opportunity still to play on the page, right? She talks about that a lot. You remember play. And so that's what we're going to do today. There just so happens to be right now, there is this, I'm looking for the other part of it, this die set that's available at scrapbook.com. It's been there for a little while. It just happens to be free for a couple days this week. So because it was free, it's sitting here on my desk, and I have been entertaining the idea of making it work here on my page because I just thought it would be a lot of fun to have this big love as part of this title. This is my son's 13th birthday, so I grabbed the bold numbers dies, the number dies, which are just fantastic. And so I was wanting to do a little something right here. Okay, I gotta tell you something. So I kind of played with cropping this photo for a moment, and then I couldn't really get it to be any more than it was. So someone's walking away in shorts. So you're like, you see their tush and their legs. We're going to cover that up. So I don't think I didn't notice that. I did notice that. And then there's just a lot of, I didn't actually get a lot of photos taken at this birthday. It was supposed to be outside. It was August. He's got a great birthday. It's in the middle of August, but the weather wasn't awesome. So it's inside photos for the win. So I tend to, when I'm hosting an event like this, there's lots of family over. We didn't get a family photo. I took some pictures of him the next day, but I didn't. So these are basically the photos that I have. I had like, 6 over here, and of course a him. There's one other of him, but I don't think I printed it. Anyway, so this is kind of what I was thinking, and I think we're just going to process this through. So I'm getting ready to die cut the love and the 13, and my cover came off of the Vacation A2 pad. This is a brand new paper pad. I love it. It is great colors, like all these muted tones. So when I cut the love, it is embossed, which is really fun. So it just gives a little extra texture, which is kind of what helped me go ahead and decide to use more hearts throughout the page, was because of the hearts on the love itself. So I'm just pulling some paper off of the paper pad to make the 13, and I used it's a different kind of a blue that is part of this paper pad. So I like how the 13 kind of sits on the love. 13 love, it kind of sounds like a score, doesn't it? Anyway, so as I was getting ready to put the 13 away, I realized there's a little outline that die cuts as well when the numbers are being cut. So I was just cleaning up and I pulled those out of there. I will actually end up using them later on in the layout, which is fine. For the covering up of the shorts and the legs, and plus because I want a sentiment as kind of my cluster here. It's a little bit of a different sort of embellished cluster. Anyway, I grabbed from this 49 and Market 12 by 12 rub-on. It has definitions. I'm here for the definitions. I love those so much. And I was kind of playing and going back and forth. What paper did I want to back it up with? And at the time, I was thinking I was just going to rub the rub-on on, transfer it to the paper, and then keep it whole. But then I decided, as you'll see, that I wanted to trim it up. And so then I used it as a kind of like journal strips. So I went back to the paper that I already have, that sort of a creamy color that the love was cut from. And so that was a decision I made. You know, it can kind of be hard to make these decisions because we're making permanent decisions here when we're rubbing something onto paper. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So I've already trimmed them up, sort of just have my elements sitting there waiting to be worked on. I decided that the love needs to be popped up. Oh, the 13 and the love needs to be popped up. So I have grabbed 1/4" double-sided foam adhesive roll. And you're going to see I gave this plenty of adhesive. And I actually later on, I don't think I recorded it, but I needed to go back and kind of fill in some of the 13. You might see me sort of messing with it a little bit, but that's what happened. I did go back and added a bit more of that adhesive because they'll droop. The paper will droop. You wouldn't think the paper is that heavy, but it kind of is. So this is a sort of kind of cluster here, even though not everything is completely layered over another thing. But I do consider this an embellished cluster. So here I grab the 1/8 inch. It's a great width for a foam adhesive, and it fits perfectly behind the letters of the love. I pulled the whole entire strip off the backer paper and then just layered it onto the, or rather behind the letters, and then just trimmed it off. And it worked like a charm. I was happy how this worked out. I don't know what I'm doing here on the left. Just forgive me for fiddling there. I got distracted. But back to the embellished clusters. You'll see as this page evolves, I will stick additional things on this little area, and there will end up being a ticket. I believe I show adding a heart here to the 13. And then when I got completely finished, I went back and added another sticker to the 13. I think it says today. So just sometimes you just know that you need to fill some more things in, and it might not be completely obvious at the time of the making, correct? So just take your time with putting these kinds of pages together. My encouragement is, if you want to add something later on, add it and enjoy it. And just, that's part of the process. It's part of the, do I take away? Do I add more? And you know when you know, especially when you continue to do this for a while. Okay, so I'm dropping back in here because I have this all set. I went ahead and placed my grid here. Pretty casual grid. We were talking recently on the Facebook page about grids, and I had one up there. It's one of my favorite grids, and I'm probably going to reprocess it with a different project, but somebody made mention of how many grids can you do, and you can do all kinds of grids. There was that grid that filled the whole page. There's this 9-slot grid that then you have 6 photos. You're telling the whole story because that's all the story I have to tell. And then you get to have these homes for embellishments, which is one of my most favorite things about grids. So all of these could have been photos. This is like totally repeating what Allie Edwards says everywhere she teaches and talks and shares. Any one of these spots could be photo. Any one of these spots could be an embellishment cluster. Any one of these spots can be journaling. So I have this place for journaling. So this is what I do for my journaling. I knew I needed a 2x2 slot for journaling. I think that's 2x2. I might have to trim that down a little bit. And so I printed on my computer. I typed it up on my computer. I printed immediately. And then my computer is just set up to where it just completely crops it. And then I pop in my piece of paper that I know I want my journaling to be on. I make sure that my tape is not covering where the writing's going to be. And then I use mint tape, and then I run that back through my printer again and just repeat the printing. So I do sometimes add my journaling in by hand. Sometimes I do my journaling on my computer. I'm kind of both ways. Now, what was fun with this journaling is that I just went with the prompt, and I love this, and I don't do it enough. And then when I see it done, I'm like, oh, I love that. I need to do that more often. But I use the love for my journaling prompt. So everything in this journaling starts with the word love. So that was fun. It was a fun way to kind of share more my feelings, my emotions versus just the facts. And obviously these are our pages, and we can add in whatever we want to our journaling. The reality is it's your journaling, and you can make it about facts or you can make it about your emotions. And sometimes I just get too factual. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I don't know that I want to be just, this isn't a newspaper. I want to have a little bit more feeling to it. So here I am going to add my last embellishment cluster. And so I have a small one over here. I'm going to take some of these elements, I'm going to repeat them over here. And that is a way to go about this. So if you follow along on this channel, if you're a subscriber, then more than likely you have encountered the cluster embellished clusters. Let me talk. Let me get my tongue working. Embellished Clusters 101 and 102. It's a little small, tiny series that I have on here. And it was a great way just to share something that I love, and that is embellished clusters. It's like, it wasn't that profound to say. Okay, so in that video, both those videos, the first one I share a formula for how I like to layer all the fun stuff up. And that's basically what I'm doing here. I made a label with the vacation paper using a Tim Holtz die. The ticket, and I use the ticket here as well, so it's kind of connecting, is from 49 and Market. I believe it's the Tranquility. This is also paper from that same collection. And this is a Catherine Pooler die. I'm not quite sure it's still available. I link all my supplies below. If there's anything you're interested in that I've used today, I always link them below. And if I can't find the exact one, she does a lot of these kinds of dies in her collections. So I will have something that will be similar. The heart's not exactly like this one over here, but it still repeats the heart motif. Then I use the 49 and Market Spectrum Gardenia, the 12 by 12 rub-ons, just like I did here. And I use the vacation paper. And so I'm repeating that element as well. And on this page too, something that I think is kind of important to see is the design elements of the three. So I have a 3 and 3, and I didn't mean to make it so tic-tac-toe, and I'm trying to think how I could have done that differently. I could have done anything differently, but I'm going to embrace it and not terribly worry about it. So I think at this point, I'm going to put those strips in, but I want to go ahead and lay this down here. And I keep going back and forth whether I want to rough up my edges. And I think because I did not here on my journaling, I'm not going to do it here also. Actually, what I probably should have done, except I like how this breaks out of the grid up here. Maybe I should have done the 13 in the middle. And again, I just repeated that. Remember I showed you this 13 has an outline, and I just popped it right up there. Okay, there it is. And everything I think that is going to go on this page is on this page. It's actually a fairly simple and linear page. I'm here for it. I love it. And so let me know if you have any questions on this. Refer to the video, which I'll link in the description, for how to do the formula for our embellished clusters. And please, if you feel so inclined to purchase anything here, I appreciate a click through on the supplies. It is no extra cost to you whatsoever. And I will see you in the next video.